You ready?
Yeah. Are you recording yet?
Yes.
Are we not doing a thing at the beginning?
No.
Oh, okay. I just had something really brilliant to put in front of that. It doesn't matter.
We can do. I'll cut this.
Yeah, okay. So when they hear the actual version, it will have us doing something really fucking amazing at the beginning. Good evening, and welcome to episode fuck knows
595.
I was 595. Okay, episode 595 of the Royal and Doodle podcast series. A series which is staggered with a few gaps, a few missing links, and stuff like that. But yeah, 3 weeks on the trot by the sounds of it.
It makes a change.
It does, yeah. 3 weeks on the trot. You lucky people. You know, if you knew how lucky you were, you would be lucky, lucky, lucky. How you going then, people? All right, yeah, good. Pause there for
I think that was a yeah.
That was a resounding, yeah, we're fine, we're happy now because, you know, we're back on regularity and everyone likes to be regular. I was only saying to you earlier on, earlier on it wasn't very regular, was it?
Well, it depends which conversation you're on about. Bearing in mind, we've had a 3-hour conversation that should have been a podcast and we've just sat here talking.
Yeah, I get some of that wasn't particularly good podcast material. That was just,
because we always have good podcast material.
Stunning comedy.
Hence the last episode.
Sharp wittices, yeah. Yeah, the last episode was a little bit...
Someone had overindulged in rum.
I did have a lot of rum.
Woke up the next morning and went, oh, that's why I feel thirsty.
I wasn't sure how much rum I'd had because you just don't really take any that some notice. But when the bottle was as empty as it wasn't empty. It wasn't completely empty. I'm not a fucking alcoholic, you know.
He always leaves a little drop and throws it away so he's not an alcoholic.
But it was... It was a lot emptier than it would have been sensible to have left it. Let's put it that way. And as I said to you, I think the major problem was I didn't mix enough beer with it. It wasn't watered down enough with them. Because there's a high water content in beer. You know that. And someone actually did say to me the other week that you can survive, like, because we were saying you need to drink a lot of water. It was a conversation we were having. You need to drink a lot of water to, you know, especially in this heat.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what about drinking beer? I mean, I like drinking beer. It's a good thing to drink beer, but don't treat it as, what's the word when you...
Doesn't it dehydrate you anyway?
Yeah, rehydrate. You know, don't treat it as rehydrating yourself because, and they were absolutely fucking going on about, yeah, no, it's the fact that there's more, you know, there's a lot of water content in it, so no, it's not.
Even if that was the case... You know what it's like once you've had 2 or 3 beers.
Let me stop you there. This is Angus Doodle. So he's on the show as well. Star of the show is here. I know you were worried for a minute there, listeners, but no, he is here.
I think they just assumed.
So that's why I had to get in with the intro because, like, normally you've got into the habit of doing a long intro and spouting off for a while. Anyway, yeah. But so what were you saying?
I was just going to say, normally, you know, after you've had 2 or 3 beers, once you pop the cap of pissing, you can't fucking stop. So you piss more than you drink anyway. So,
yeah, but is that? I think that's because of the quantity. Because if you would sit, you wouldn't sit and drink water to that quantity, would you? It's like if these were cans of water. By the way, we're just drinking plain old lager tonight. If you were drinking cans of water. There's no way you get through as many cans of water in a show as we get through cans of beer. So I think it's quantity.
I drink a lot of water, but I find my speed of drinking beer increases by the more beer I have.
I can drink beer much faster than I can drink water. Water makes me gag a bit.
No, that's Cox.
Oh, sorry, yes. H2O.
How many at once?
Yes, 20. No, I can't. I can drink more beer quickly than I can drink water, which is odd because it's gassy.
I'm not.
I don't find myself belching a lot either when I drink beer.
Depends what. I'm not a huge. Although we're drinking lager, I'm not a huge lager drinker. So
no, Well, it's normal size. What are you thinking? Like a massive, great big.
Oh, I did. Do you know, I had a
giant.
I had a thought yesterday because I was walking through a shopping centre, and there was one of those big, the big plastic bottles for putting your coins in that they sell.
Yeah.
I was thinking we should do a show where we just fill that and have 2 straws coming out of it of beer.
Well, I had the similar thought because I was in Lidl. Lidl's now my favourite shop, by the way. I'm big on Lidl. I was concerned because it was like, I think the first time I went in Lidl, I was a bit phased by it because it was like being in Warsaw. Except Warsaw has less Polish people in it. But I actually quite like Lidl because once you get over the fact that you don't recognise any of the brand names in there.
Well, you do now because they've started getting more brand names.
Have they?
Apparently, it's like the fastest growing.
It doesn't surprise me.
Gained 30% of shoppers in the last quarter.
I like your peanut butter, right? I'm into it.
You like my peanut butter?
Big into peanut butter.
Crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy. It's got to be crunchy.
Mm.
I like things with nuts in it, obviously. Before you say it, yeah. So I'm big into my peanut butter, and I've always been a Sunpat fan. Don't know why. Patting my son.
Didn't he do the Funhouse?
Funhouse?
That's Pat Sharp.
Oh, was that okay? Okay, I know I done it.
You were probably like 20 years in the work at that age.
I would have been stopped listening to Radio 1 by that stage. Was he a Radio 1 jock?
I don't know if he was on Radio 1 at that point.
Did he molest
children?
Or?
He had the twins working on the show.
Oh,
Two blonde girls.
Did he? Yeah. I bet he
They looked of legal age, though.
Oh, they looked.
But the kids that came on weren't.
Yeah. Yeah. Radio 1 Roadshow. So, yeah, peanut butter. And I thought, man, I was in there the other day, and their peanut butter is about £1 cheaper than Sunpat. I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And I'll tell you what, it is every bit as good as Sunpat.
Yeah, well, I don't really shop there, but it's on me way home if I'm walking back from town. So I popped in the other day to have a look, and they do some chili peanuts, which are fucking lovely.
There you go, stuff like that, cold meats.
And normally I don't buy
cold meats and cheese.
I normally don't buy nuts because the price of them these days is fucking extortionate.
Peanuts?
Yeah.
I know, it's an outrage because, peanuts used to be cheap fodder. They used to be the cheapest
it's like
value
spam.
snack.
Have you seen the price of spam these days?
Well, spam or corned beef.
Spam and corned beef.
Yeah. Spam is shit as well. I mean, there's no amount of...
I don't mind a bit of spam.
There's no amount... spam on email. You know what? It's called spam for a reason because it's shit. But corned beef used to be like the cheapest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Now, can of corned beef, couple of quid.
Well, wasn't spam and corned beef like a readily available meat during rationing?
Exactly, yeah. That's how corned beef came around because it was like basically...
All the brains and feet mashed up together.
Well, it was basically beef that they, after all the good cuts have been taken, they used to strip off the bone in the olden days. Now they use...
Whoa!
Now they use
I stripped off the bone last night.
High pressure water hoses to remove the meat from the bones to make the spam... Well, spam's actually even worse. It's just like a fucking pulp. It's just pulp squeezed into a can and left to solidify in a bunch of jelly. But corned beef, and I'm quite partial to corned beef hash. Dead simple to make, tasty.
I'm a corned beef and pickle sandwich fan.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, can't afford it anymore though.
They make little corned beef pork pies now with pickle across the top.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah, I make some pork pie every now and again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Royal and Doodle Foodcast.
Yeah, cookery hour. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Let's have a cookery hour. I like to make a pork pie, and I do with a whole lot.
I've seen your pork pies.
My pork pies are succulent, baby.
I wasn't a huge fan of your pork pies.
They were early pork pies. They're better.
They had issues.
They fell apart.
They were like the special needs pork pie.
But I've got better at it now. And I've got lots of various recipes. And I'll tell you one of my pork pies that you would like. It's a pork pie, and running in the centre of it across the pie, because basically you make your pastry case, whack in a sort of that size amount of meat, good for the listeners,
like a pork burger, that sort of thickness.
Then you cut a thin piece of good quality black pudding, put that in there. Then you pop in an egg, and then you put some more meat on top, and then you cook it. And it's fucking handsome, I can tell you.
Not a fan of black pudding. Not huge. We had this discussion.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of black pudding.
Good black pudding.
I'll eat it, but I ain't a huge fan of it.
Is it because it reminds you of your dad's cock?
No, it's
your real dad, not the dad that you got at
Scotland, and anything there's shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No. Let's not do that. No, well, we like the haggis. We agreed earlier that we like the haggis.
Yeah, but it's only because when you warm it up, it's a good fuck.
You have to get the one in the proper bladder, though, not one of these ones in a plastic skin. Yeah,
no.
You need the full bladder.
You get a bit of friction burn on the plastic.
Because if you actually look at it, if you're really clever, you could probably unpick the, because it's the thing and it's coiled up and it looks like an arsehole, actually. I don't know if any of you listeners have ever studied the haggis. I'm guessing
in the same way we have.
The fact that most of you are in America would suggest you probably haven't studied the haggis. But
I believe, referring to the last one, half of them believe they're Scottish descent aniously, so they probably have.
True, yeah. Irish, I think.
Scottish and Irish we've discussed.
Yeah.
Celts. I believe you offended everyone.
Bunch of Celts. Let's not go back to that, shall we? But you look at a haggis, the one that's in the proper thing, it's like tied.
It's like the end of a balloon.
It is, or looks like a very baggy ring piece, like a ring piece.
Like yours?
Not quite like mine, but a ring piece that's done a lot of porn films. Let's put it that way. And we had this conversation quite a few episodes ago about the fact that
adult nappies.
Anyone giving anal is just inviting problems in the future. Giving anal, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because you're going to have to clean up the shit.
But it does look like a puckered ring, not Katie puckered ring. There's a blast from the past. She's American. It's Katie Puckering. Whatever. Anyway, Katie Puckering. I'm sure she used to be on
recognise the name.
The Word or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a roving reporter on The Word. Right,
possibly.
Little strumpet. I gotta say. She was American. Yeah, they all are.
There was a Skowskis on that, weren't there? It was presenter.
Scouse? No, it was Mark Lamar.
Was it Mark Lamar, The Word?
Yeah, I think so. Was that The Word? Yeah, I think The Word was Mark Lamar.
Was it The Tube? I'm thinking
you're thinking of The Tube. That had be playing the piano, ding 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 ding. Jules Holland and Dead Woman.
Paula Yates.
Yeah. Dead Woman. That's not very nice, is it?
But
she is dead, yeah.
I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah. She had a lucky life, didn't she? Married to Bob Geldof. Fucking lose.
He's all right.
Bobby Geldof. B, then goes off and marries a bloke who hangs himself wanking on the back of a door.
Who hasn't come close to that at some point? Come on.
There's not hinges that I've tried it. The fucking door fell off.
I got all confused. I thought it was a minge, but no, it was a hinge.
Hanging off this door, wanking myself stupid, and I nearly broke my fucking neck because the door fell off. But yeah,
you fitted it then.
Yeah, so there was that, and then she died, and she had two kids called Peaches and Cream.
And did she get touched up by Arnie as well?
Yeah, probably. Poppy go.
I think when she was on the Big Breakfast, she said that he was a bit handy.
A bit handy with his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's. Should I do an Arnie impression? I can't do an Arnie impression.
Can you?
No.
Not even the usual.
What's that?
I'll be back. That sort of thing.
Let's go to Mars. That wasn't bad, but it's all right. Passable.
If you're looking for a Stallone impression, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he was when Stallone was in Total Recall.
Was he?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. He might have been in the remake. I ain't seen it.
There's
they don't go to Mars, do they? In the new one?
I ain't got a fucking clue. Is it out yet?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's got Colin Farrell in, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's go to Mars. Do you think he speaks with an Irish accent? Hello, my name's Colin Farrell. I saw a good film with him in it the other day.
What?
7 Psychopaths. Have you seen that?
No, I've seen it advertised.
You should see that one.
Yeah.
It's available for download on all good pirate stations. Pirate stations? Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In places where the youth gets their films from, apparently. Not that I would know, of course.
You just get the boys to download them and that's it.
Not at all, no. That would be incriminating if I said that.
I'll get the boys.
Yeah, send the boys round. I want the Sweeney. I want 7 Psychopaths. I want Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Do you really have to do that on the dodgy download? It's like available. You can watch it on YouTube probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd send it out for free if you wrote to the right people.
I did watch the Excellent Adventure the other day. It was on telly. I flicked on as it was on. I'll sit down and watch this for a little bit.
Do you know, while we're on movies, I saw a film, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it was one of the films in the top 100 films to see before you die.
Well, I don't know if I've seen it because I don't know which one it is then.
I ain't told you that.
Yeah, exactly, that's how I don't know if I've seen it either.
By someone who I've admired some of their work. A very famous podcast. Here we go, let's play a game. Very famous podcaster. Probably one of the biggest names in podcasting. American guy. I'm killing time here because I can't think of his name.
American?
Yeah, very
Mark Maron.
No, bigger than him.
Adam Carolla.
Probably bigger than him, actually. He's got his own network.
Keep giving me clues.
His sidekick was once on the Anti-Semantic Show.
Oh, okay. We watched the same film, and I think at the same night, because I saw your tweet. Yeah. Did you make it further than me?
I don't know. I didn't get very far.
I made about 15 minutes. Clerks.
Yeah.
What a bunch of shite.
That's what I thought. Honestly, I was watching it, I was thinking, what have they done in black and white? Is it because it's
cheaper?
Well, I don't know. Was it for effect or whatever?
I bet.
Well, and every bit there was, I think I got half an hour into it, and I thought, nothing in this has made me laugh.
No,
I think tell you what, I don't know how far it was into, but the bit I got to was when they were playing hockey on the roof.
I didn't see that bit.
Okay, so I got further than you, but I couldn't tell you how far that was in, and I thought, I'm supposed to, No, it's apparently sacrilege to say it wasn't funny.
It was on Netflix, and I thought, okay, right. I've heard loads of people talking about it. I've got a funny feeling I've tried it before. But then I thought, I'll give it a go. No, couldn't. Fucking shite.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, I think it's like the King's New Clothes, that everyone says, you've got it like this. And people think that if they don't like it, there's some sort of weirdo, and Kevin Smith is comedy god, and he's done some okay stuff. Apparently Clerks 2's all right, but
it's in colour.
Well, there you go. So it's 100% better already. But I don't know. Jay and Silent Bob,
yeah, I've watched it, but it wasn't.
I'm not.
I wouldn't watch it again.
I don't get the Kevin Smith thing. I do think he's done a fucking marvellous PR job
for a fat beardy cunt.
And Jason Mewes is quite funny to listen to.
How many times have you actually listened to him then, other than just on the Anti-Semantic Show?
That, and I listened to a podcast with him and Kevin Smith, which was Jay and Silent Bob Get Old or something like that, which was okay. It was all right,
Again, downloaded it, didn't get that far through.
It weren't no Royal and Doodle show. That's but
if you're going to compare it to that, that's a bit harsh.
So, yeah, I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. So I started watching another film, which was recommended to me by our big gay friend in San Diego.
Okay, how is Ted?
He's all right. Which was... fucking hell.
It was that good.
No, Someone and Someone versus Evil. Two rednecks versus Evil. Bob and Terry. No, Bill and Jim. Dale and someone. Anyway, I highly recommend this film. I think you should go out and watch it. Just research Someone and Someone versus Evil and download it. I thought it wasn't brain taxing, which is kind of good in a film for me, but it was just like, it was good. It's worth my time watching it. So, and fortunately,
I'll check that out.
Yeah, fortunately for Bob, Bill, Ted, what's his name?
Ted.
Tom, Tim Tom. Because I did threaten that if I didn't like it and I watched it, I'd have to shit in his pocket. So his pockets are now safe.
Oh, you'd have to have a Tommy Royal.
Yeah, Tommy Royal. Oh, that's what we were talking about earlier on, wasn't it? Yeah.
What?
About that, we were talking about
Tommy Royal, as in on the Urban Dictionary.
Being regular. Well, yeah, I know. I had a brick today. It's like... This is an impression of an unfortunate occurrence today, and I don't know why, because it was curry fueled as well, which normally involves heat, but not a lot of solidity. But this thing, all right, I'm just going to do an impression of what happened. That was it. It came out with a square end. It was like eating a fucking brick.
I wonder,
and it hurt.
Does everybody talk about it like this? Because we have a tendency, when we stood there doing something, and one of us go, I've got a fucking shit in a minute. And then you'll come out and feel the need to explain what the consistency, the texture, and how sore it was coming out, if it was at all.
Because I know you're interested.
Yeah, I know, but I do the same to you.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
What I'm saying. Does anyone else do? Do you think that's normal?
Well, I don't generally have the conversation with, say, the wife. It's like, all right, darling, yeah, just had a really good shit. It was sort of a bit of a mixed bag, so to speak. It was
you got colostomy.
A few solids and a bit of squitty meditty in between, which was all right. Yeah. Goes to sort of,
I've got his album.
yes. Woodbees. WOOD. No, yeah. So yeah, but you don't have that conversation with the wife, but you can have that conversation with your mates.
I mean, have you ever had that situation where you've been driving in the car and let out a fart that was a little bit?
You bastard. Okay.
Mr. Roy may have divulged a little bit too much today.
Didn't want to talk about this, but I did have an episode, and I don't see. Look, everyone talks about this. This is not anything groundbreaking in a podcast, but honestly, I've been alive for a long time,
a long time,
and as far as I know,
you were alive when the pub guys were around.
Fucking hell, I ain't that old. Since I was probably about 3 or 4. No, I was probably out of nappies by then. But anyway, apart from when I was a baby, and yeah, you're a baby, I've never actually shat myself. And this doesn't qualify as, in my book, as shatting yourself. But I had that experience, and I've heard other people talking about it, and I've always thought, no, that can't happen. What are you, incontinent or something? You can't do that. It just doesn't happen. Well, I'm here to tell you that it does. I was driving along in the car. Do you know what? What was really funny?
Did you taste it?
No, it wasn't my car either. It was her car.
Oh,
and there was a smudge on the seat.
Tommy!
there was a smudge on the seat, just like a little moisture mark, almost like a sweat mark, but. So,
but a brown sweat mark.
So I was on the way home, and I thought, I thought I could probably do with the poo, but I don't want to be going in like public toilets because they're just not very pleasant places. And in the UK, there's not many of them around. That's restrooms, by the way.
Yeah, neither of us are much fan of the public toilet.
Is anybody a fan of the public toilet?
I don't know. I know people that don't care. I was going to say don't give a shit, but obviously they do when they go in there.
Apart from cottages and glory hole.
I've never touched
dwellers.
a toilet seat in a public toilet. I'll hover.
But they're always horrible, aren't they? It doesn't matter how clean they are. They're always horrible because someone may well have been in between you and the cleaner, and it's just like they're never nice.
Well, do you know when you go in a public
and a warm toilet seat in a public toilet is the worst thing in the world.
When you go in a public toilet, do you always go to you think, furthest one away, it'll be all right?
No, do you know what?
Because apparently I read that's the most used.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would always go to one nearest the door because everyone else is thinking, I'm doing like this, right? So what would someone come in here and think, I'm going to go over there? And I'll go, but I'm not. I'm going to go in there. But then I'm thinking, maybe they thought the same thing and they were going to go over there, but now they're going to go over there. I'm a middleman. I like to go in the middle somewhere.
I use a cunning ploy. I use the toilet no one's ever sat on. I use the urinal.
Use the urinal, yeah, that's always good. Or the sink, one of the wash basins. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's all right because actually you can just turn over and hit your ass under the hand dryer.
Yeah, actually, in the service station that I did end up in to mop up the debris the other day. And this is no word of a lie. They had what? Well, I thought, yeah, that's all right. So I did my thing and decided I was quite thirsty because obviously I just expelled a load of fucking water, albeit slightly yellowy coloured water.
There must have been a lot to make its way through a pair of pants and whatever trousers you were wearing.
Yeah,
onto the seat.
Cargo shorts. It had gone the full, but this was why I was concerned.
Oh, were they khakis?
They were very khakis, yeah. But this is why I was concerned walking from the car into the toilet and was like figuring out ways of keeping my back to a wall at all times.
Like a ninja.
Getting in the sliding up the wall. Then I had this thought, shit, what if I slide up the wall and leave a mark? It was like, there's this trail along the fucking corridor.
Like the scat Hansel and Gretel.
But it wasn't funny at the time. It was quite an awkward situation. So anyway, I'm not going to give you the full details because obviously it's not necessary. But they had a big drinking fountain in the toilet, which I thought was a little bit strange.
Please tell me this is where it's going. Did you sit over it thinking it was a B-day?
No. Oh God, no. That was why the sink.
Yeah,
that's what the sink's for.
Big round.
Yeah, like this big metal. You know, like drinking fountains.
The M40?
Yes.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah. So. Turns out it's not a drinking fountain at all. It's the washing your hands in.
Yeah.
Well, I wish someone had told me that before I had a drink out of the taps. Because they're high-level taps and that, it does look like... You've seen it?
That's not as much fun as me thinking you sitting over it using it as a B-day.
I would have done that.
It was a bit of a climb to get up there.
What's your thoughts on B-days? Would you have one?
No.
No.
Only ever thrown them away.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think there's that much demand for them nowadays.
For them as well, and I don't think they're very healthy. As in, I don't think they're very hygienic.
I mean, we once saw a toilet that you sat on and it sprayed your ass and blow dried it.
I want one. Yeah,
that was kind of cool because it had a heated seat as well.
Yeah, so you can. But you're not going to have those in public.
No,
I don't like sitting on a warm. Like you go into a trap, and
so to speak.
Well, you sit down and the seat's warm. You kind of think,
oh, it's recent.
Yeah, someone's not long gone from here. That's not had time for the germs and the crabs that they've probably got to have been died or something. And if they were masturbating, right? Can you catch AIDS from a toilet seat?
I don't believe so. If there's blood on it, then and you have an open wound, there's a possibility.
Right.
But from fluid transference, apparently...
When you say open wound, bear in mind what you're doing in there. Does that qualify as a wound? Well, no, it's an entrance into your body that's open.
Well, if your open arsehole is on the seat, you're having issues pooing because...
I was thinking more of your todger resting on the seat. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But if there's blood...
Because that worries me.
If there's that amount of blood over the seat, then I wouldn't sit on it if I were you anyway.
Because if you've got your todger resting on the toilet seat and someone else's todger's been resting on the toilet seat and they're a bit of a skank. See, I always thought that's why they put condom machines in toilets. So because buy a packet of condoms, put a condom on to going in the toilet so the todger doesn't actually touch the seat that someone else's todger's touched. That's a bit of a tongue twister, I see. Try saying that very fast.
No, I think I got what you were saying.
Yeah. Do you not think that's... everyone thinks that actually you're supposed to buy condoms. Why would you buy condoms in a public toilet on the motorway? What are you going to fucking do? Oh, hello. I'm just in case I find a hitchhiker who's a bit fussy and wants to have a condom on when I shag them.
Hello, Mungus.
But why? I never understand it. I can understand in pubs because you go there.
What if you want a quickie outside or something like that?
Or what?
What if you wanted a quickie outside or something like that with the missus in the car?
You'd probably plan ahead though, wouldn't you?
No.
You wouldn't go, what we need to do is go and spend £4 on a packet of condoms. Apparently they're £4. I don't know. But you can buy all sorts of things in there. But it always struck me as a bit weird.
Condom vending machines were a good haunt of mine because I fucking hate buying them at counters.
No, I can understand
because you always get that look going, we know what you're doing. Why did you buy the extra small?
Tiny ones.
For me, mate,
Yeah,
honest.
I've got a mouse who's got another mouse that he wants to have sex with. So, he's a bit embarrassed. So I thought I'd buy him some condoms. But in a motorway service station, that's my point.
Yeah, but if you need to, you need to fuck. There's no.
What people feel the need that they'll get themselves into a situation, because I'd like to get myself into that situation, that they need when they stop off at a motorway service station to buy condoms, for fuck's sake.
You always go in with that premise and then pass the KFC and go, oh.
Like I say, pubs, yeah, that's fine. I can live with that, no problem, because there's a good chance that you might get lucky and you think, well, hey, I got lucky and I didn't bring any with me, because that would kind of be preempting it, and that's always a bad thing because you're always going to end up left with your condoms.
Always a nightmare when I was younger for not carrying condoms anyway.
Well, do you know what? When I was younger...
And didn't use them.
When I was younger, it was like...
Made of leather.
Me didn't have them.
You washed them out under the sink.
Because you could only go up to the counter in the local chemist and buy them. That was the only place you could get them. And who's going to do that? Because you're probably the woman behind the counter was probably a friend of your mum or something. It's like, oh, your son was in today. What? In a chemist? What was he doing? Well, he bought 20 packs of Anodin, but I think he wanted condoms.
And Mum would have gone, I'm in for a lucky night tonight.
Yeah.
It was a small village.
It was, yeah, there wasn't a lot of women there. So we had to recycle them, and that was the thing. We really recycling our chicks.
So have you had that issue where you've gone to the loo in a public toilet, and because you've waited for so long and you also need a piss at the same time, you've got a bit of a semi on?
Oh, all the time, yeah. And I quite like that.
You tuck it down to go to the loo, and it ends up sitting against the china.
Well, when it's a bit of a semi on, I normally go for a waz in the urinals first, and sort of stand there looking really proud.
Yeah. Before you have a shit.
Yeah. Well, you've got to take a full advantage of. Yeah, it's not very often you can stand looking proud and like no-handed. That no-handed one. I really hate those bastards.
Standing over the waterfall.
I really hate those bastards that do the no-handed pissing in the toilets.
Stretching like you got a stitch.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. So look, I'm pissing. No hands. It's, I don't need to hold my trousers back and push my pants back and do that. And like,
I do that all the time.
Do you?
Adult nappies, I'll tell you. They're great.
So yeah, no, take full advantage. If you put, it's a bit. I suppose if you had a full erection, that would be a bit of a worry. Apart from the fact you'd piss all over the fucking
you have to stand
wall
a few feet back.
Yeah, or stand on your head. What are you doing? I've got an erection and I'm busting for. Can you piss with an erection?
It's hard work, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Haven't you? Oh, it's fucking hard.
I've never had an erection. I'm old. Remember,
I really need to try and concentrate to fucking. You can do it, but it's hard work to get it going.
Yeah, I've always thought that if you were in that situation, you'd have to like whip it down with a wet bootlace or something like that. Just like slap it down.
Yeah, but that just gets you more excited again.
Well, do you know what? A nurse once told me, because they
you should have that cut off.
No, a nurse once told me that they used to, when they were doing examinations, if someone got aroused, that they would flick the end of it. And that instantly kills it.
Because when I was at school, we had the old cough and drop test.
Yeah.
And one of the kids missed it, and they had a day where they came back in to get it done for the kids that missed it. And we convinced him that what they'd done is they made you get an erection and hit it with a cold spoon.
Yeah. Which he got a massive erection. Yeah. Went, where's the cold spoon? No, they flick it. They just like go pink right on the bell end.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, I was going to say people would pay for that, like being beaten with leather strops. Apparently, I don't know. Yeah, but it's amazing what you can buy in a toilet in a thing.
Well, talking of shit, and I had an incident which I didn't share. I did tell you there was an incident to share. I weren't well the other week.
But I weren't well. Stomach upset, was it?
Yeah, it was running out a little bit, and I had to get up for work early.
Right.
So I was up at like 5 a.m, sat on the edge of the bed.
Well, don't you use the toilet?
No, I didn't go for poo.
Oh, right.
So I done the thing where, I was like, oh, fuck, I can't be bothered. Sat back and laid back on the bed for a little bit and had a fart.
Oh.
And didn't realise that it was a slightly sprayy fart.
Oh, on your own bed?
And on the bed, and I got beige carpets and magnolia walls.
Ooh.
And
on the walls? That was spray.
It was a little powerful.
He was naked at the time, I hope.
I was, yeah.
Because if that's come through cotton as well.
That was do I clean it up? No, I just go to work, leave it. It'll be clean by the time I come home.
Oh. What, you were kind of hoping, well, either one of the cats will do it. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only got one cat now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so one of the cats that kind of narrows it down.
Yeah.
Running out of food source at home.
But no, I, as I say, it was. I'm sorry for sharing it with you, but it was an event that it's never happened before. So yeah, that's another notch on the stick of things I've now
another
experienced.
Tommy Royal Scout badge.
There's something I've experienced that I'd never experienced before.
Right.
Didn't like it, I have to say. It wasn't a pleasant experience. I don't recommend it to anyone.
On his sleeve, right next to tying a knot, he's got shit yourself.
Yeah, it's like I'm not saying to you should try it. It's quite liberating because it isn't. It's probably the worst thing in the world. Not because the actual thing wasn't too much of an issue because it was a hot day and I was quite sweaty anyway, so a little bit more moisture. But it's the getting from your if you're in a vehicle, it's the getting from your vehicle to the toilet, which is the interesting thing that.
Do you think
that is embarrassing?
Do you think that's a downward
walk,
spiral?
When you do the walk, I mean, it's like really difficult to walk
and clench.
People say, "Oh, he walks like he's shit himself." Well, no. If you have shit yourself, you don't do that walk because you there's a totally different walk, which is it's probably quite gay looking because you're very much clenched at the back, but trying to look very loose. The rest of it.
So how can they tell the difference between your usual walk?
You have to do a kind of butt clenched swagger. Even you're like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I haven't shit myself." Look, no. Do you think why are they all looking at me?
Do you think at your age that's a downward spiral now? That's it started.
I'm concerned
it's just going to get worse and worse.
I am concerned it might be because it may be the shape of things to come,
or not. The shape of things is not very shapely. It's just wet.
Yeah. You do think, well, if it's happened once, and I was in control of the situation at the time.
Apparently not.
Well, that's the trouble, isn't it? You think you're in control of the situation, it becomes very apparent very quickly, and it is quick. It wasn't like a turtle head or anything that you sort of go, oh no, that's I can manoeuvre that back into the drop zone.
So did it start as a suspect fart? Was that?
I just thought I'd sneak.
Did you squeeze it? Did you squeeze it out?
You know what it's like when you are in need of relieving yourself that way. We had this conversation earlier, and I've got a theory that there's a certain amount of air which will be expelled as a blow off or a parp or a fart, as we say, before it gets to anything of any danger. Because let's face it, you jump on the bog. What's the first thing you do? You don't jump in and poo straight away, do you?
Like pests normally.
Yeah, but there's always a bit of a fart beforehand before you get to the lumpy stuff, and so there's always this. Yeah, okay, I've got 6 inches worth of fart before it gets dangerous. Yeah.
Since when has fart been measured in a length term?
It's the way I think of it. I think of. Anal tract.
Does it have a girth as well?
See, this is something I'm never sure.
Is it a 6x1 girth or?
Yeah, but I'm never sure. It's the farts and poos come from the same place. This sounds like I'm an adult. I'm not unintelligent, all right? But these are questions that sometimes I think I wish someone would tell me the answer to this, because do they come from the same place?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean. So your tube is got. That's what I'm saying. It's got bits that's an air part.
Is it your small intestine that it comes through last?
Well, today it was a fucking big intestine. I hope, because No, it was wherever it comes from. I don't. It's like your wee and your spunk is. Although it comes out the same hole, it doesn't come from the same place, does it?
Mine does.
Does it? Oh, that's messy. Do you know what?
It's like James Brown. How does my piss taste? Bitter.
You know. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, your bladder stores pee.
It's like when you breathe or you drink, it goes down the same hole.
And your balls store spunk. Yeah. And so they don't. The only place they could meet is in your Aretha Franklin. But that's what I'm saying. Is poo the same and poo and fart the same thing?
Is there like the same area?
A diverter valve somewhere that goes, oh, hang on, as it comes down, gets to a point, and the old thing goes, hang on, that's fart, that goes down that channel, and then that's poo, that goes into that storage tank there, and then there's like, and then the two things have an exit route, and the exit route comes down from there. And the next place they meet is it your arsehole, basically?
There's a little anal sat nav going, take the next left.
Yeah. Turn around if possible. I wish it had a fucking one of them, but obviously didn't have it sat nav. No, you can't come out yet. I can't see, it's dark. There's no water. I can't see what's going on. I think it's probably not safe to come out. You stay there. But, so, if that's not the case... Which I don't, as I say,
I don't believe it is.
I don't know that it is, and so if it's not, then there must be, you know, poos and wind, and then so you. I don't know. You can fart for like, you know.
You think it's like an icing bag? You've got to squeeze the end before.
Yeah, that's it. Just take the air out, and then you've got a poo. And normally you're in control of that, and you know that okay. Because that's what happened. I thought it's just a fart. That's all it is. It's just a fart. I think what happened was there was a fart, obviously, but very close behind it was a very, 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 very loose poo.
And the sluice gate didn't shut in time.
I think that's what it was. My brain was like a bit confused by it and kind of went, well, I'm not sure what that is. Let it go. Go on, let it go. We'll let that one through. Go on you go, son. It's like, you know, it's like a skydiver coming out. It just went, green, go. And it just followed it. It's like, broke through the doors. It's like, you know, like when people push through the barriers and the security guards going, right, you through, you two through. And then there's a rush of people and they all come piling through.
I'm not sure who you are.
And in the end, the security guard's going, oh, fuck, I can't be bothered with this. It's not costing me money to let him in, is it? Fucking come on, here you go. And then there's a big bloke and he goes, right, I'm going to stop you. and I think that's what happened. But it does concern me that, am I getting to a point, like I say, where my rectal security guard is not up to his job anymore, and he's a bit confused by life, and he's a bit, I ain't sure whether that's poo or not.
I think that's that's bound to happen with the action your anus has seen. But I think the more important question that people want to know is, with your reputation of being a tight bastard, did you wash the pants and keep them, or?
Well, I had to wear them for another hour. I was still a long journey home.
Did you keep them after you got home, or did you sneak them in the bin so no one knew?
Of course not. I, put them in the wash bin. Made sure they were sort of
buried in with something else,
screwed up into a ball. Because I know she doesn't sort of go through the washing before she washes it. I've found that out so many times by my fucking wallet being washed, and taking my jeans out and finding wads of toilet roll and. Not newspaper in the pockets, that's nonsense, but receipts and money. Just walking
and down the road with the sun tucked in my back pocket.
Never ever checks anything, so I knew I was safe. And what are you going to say? I'd say, it wasn't me.
as you have to unblock the filter on the washing machine.
See, no, I think had the question been, fortunately I was wearing black underwear at the time. And the khaki shorts were quite camouflaged anyway.
No, it's so I can hide.
But I thought, if she pulls me up on this and says, I wash your pants, did you have a problem? I would have denied it. I said, what are you talking about? No. That's obviously.
You're talking shit, woman.
It must have rubbed on something in the wash bin.
Like your pants.
Yeah.
Have you got a problem?
Yeah, ladies.
Do you need adults' nappies?
Yeah, but so that's a bit of a concern of mine now. Do feel that I am becoming incontinent, and just to add to my
it was only a matter of time, really.
Alzheimer's and incontinence go hand in hand, really, don't they? Well, not hand in hand as such, but
hand in anus.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's always a good thing. I do look forward to when I can quite happily shit myself and not care, and someone else has got to clear it up. That's quite.
Well, by the sounds of it, someone else did clear it up.
No, I had to clear the initial debris up. I told you. But
I think I'd have just winged my pants in the toilet.
No, I know someone that did that, and they were there for 3 years. They shoved them in the cistern to a place I used to work at, and he told us about it. So I investigated. After he'd left the company, he told me about it, and I went and investigated, and they were still there. These Union Jack boxer shorts, all screwed up, stuffed down the bottom of the cistern.
Did you take them home, put them in the wash bin?
Well, they were nice pants, yeah, of course. Well, he'd been washed they'd had fresh water on them for fucking 3 years. There was no evidence there of anything. So I sniffed them to find out. So yeah, didn't really want to talk about that. But I did, so there you go.
Well, you know that thing when we're working away and I go, can I say this when we record? And you go, no. I hear yes.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And the trouble is, what am I going to do? I'm going to go, I'm not talking about that. That's not for discussion.
Well, that's kind of what you've done the entirety of the last show. And just rum.
Yeah. I won't be drinking rum again in a hurry. I'll tell you what I do need to do.
Have a pee?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we're at 46 minutes. Should we shut it down? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And as per usual, every week we shut down at 46 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
we're gonna call it a day then?
Yeah, should we play our new outro music or the old one?
I think we should have our new outro music just for a little bit.
Well, yeah, I don't have it clipped, so no.
Oh, well, okay. We can't. You can cut it in afterwards.
No.
We're listening to the Trav Man. The man who doesn't appear on many podcasts ever. Knows his fuzz boxes.
Knows his fud.
He knows all about fuzz boxes.
I've seen a few fuzz boxes in my time.
Yeah, dirty bitches. But there used to be a band called Fuzzbox, and they were 3 women, and I think it was a bit of a play on words.
Oh, I think I had their album, Never Mind the Fuzzcocks.
Never mind the Fuzzbox.
Fuzzbox.
Never mind the Fuzzy Cocks.
You know what I mean.
I never know what you mean. I did promise Travis we would never talk over his theme tune again, but, you know.
I didn't.
No, so it's your fault.
Sorry,
Travis.
Not.
That was dude who said not.
Oh, never.
Yeah, you did. And they're all sitting listening thinking, are we going to carry on talking? Are we going to say anything
Well, it always makes me want to go.
Yeah. What I like doing is you get to a point where you just... Because people might be listening to this thinking, are they going to say anything else? And then we just stop and say nothing else. But they'll still wait to see if we say anything else.
They'll always say something at the end.